Good morning, South Fork family. We're going to try a little bit of a new style this morning. Super low amount of editing just to make this quicker, and I think more timely because every morning is new and just times are changing so fast now. I just want to bring this to you on a daily basis. So I am pretty happy. It's fairly warm outside, all things considered, this morning, March the 23rd, Monday. So let's get into it. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. This is actually the last chapter that we're going to spend in both 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And so that being said, I think Paul ends here. Context, what's going on a little bit is you've got some people who are not working, and so they have basically just said, okay, well, because Jesus is like coming back so soon, I'm just going to quit work, use that as an excuse. That's kind of the crux of it. Use that as an excuse, quit work, do nothing, and just kind of live every day as it is. And Paul points out the problem with that is actually we don't know when Jesus is coming back. And so working and providing for those around us, and especially giving, are just so essential to the act of being a follower of Jesus, because the act of following Jesus is always viewing, of course, love of God, but then love of others as the pinnacle priority, right? And so that being said, we need to continue to work, not only to provide for our own families, but to provide for those around us who are in need. And so he actually says this in verse 13, when some of them have just grown weary, he says, listen, don't. As for you, brothers, do not grow weary in doing good. If anyone does not obey what we say in this letter, take note of that person and have nothing to do with him, that he may be ashamed. Do not regard him as an enemy, but warn him as a brother. Now listen, Paul is not advocating here that we shame people into doing the right things. Instead, what he's saying is listen, don't treat people who are taking advantage of others and taking advantage of some miscommunicated theology. Don't treat them as enemies, but rather just be like, hey man, listen, you know this isn't good for you. You're doing something that literally isn't good for you or anyone around you. And so that being said, that warning should produce just like so much love from us, should produce a way that they don't want to do what they're currently doing. It's that type of shame, not like a manipulative, strong-arming type of shame, but shame in a way that says, okay, man, I really wish I wasn't doing this, because this person loves me so much that they're communicating to me that I really should be focused on loving God and loving my neighbor. So that being said, let that be our takeaway. Listen, I know some of you right now are just growing weary because of the just current influx of information and news, and it's just a hard time. But the reality is that when Paul says don't grow weary in doing good, he's saying, listen, your goodness that you're putting out there in the world is doing something. You can't see it yet. It's a lot like compound interest. It takes a long time to build up to anything. But the reality is, it is important. So, South Fork family, don't grow weary in doing good today. We might be social distanced apart, and that's a good thing. But the reality is we can still love each other. We can check up. We can call each other. We can put things out online that are encouraging one another. So that being said, we love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow as we start a new book of the Bible in the New Testament. Love you guys. Have a great day.